Welcome back to another episode of the UIS Coaches Show. I'm Michael Iota, joined by the head men's coach, Matt Brock. Matt, thanks for joining us again. We always appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Stars coming off a tough road trip down to UMSL and Lincoln over the weekend. A couple losses, 74-66 to UMSL, and then a loss to Lincoln, 75-60. And Coach, let's break down this weekend here. Kind of a good news, bad news situation in that UMSL game, because we got off to a really, really good start in this game. Shooting the ball well. Max Kunert got off to a great start. Weren't able to finish that game. UMSL 74-66 win. Talk a little bit about that first half versus the second half, a little bit of that progression and kind of your overall thoughts.
Yeah, we got got up a little bit, and when you've got a good team, especially on the road, you want to have as much space as possible going into halftime, and they were able to cut it to 2, and I think our lead was double digits at one point. So. The end of the first half, we just didn't finish as strong as you needed to, and second half was a battle. It came down to I think we were down 1, and Emmanuel Prosper jumped up and hit a 3, and extended it to 4, and then we came down and didn't score, and so we were kind of playing from behind at that point. So. In coin flip games, you've got to make the plays down the stretch, and UMSL made 5 threes on the night. Unfortunately, 2 of those were late. Prosper hit 1 to go ahead 4, like I said, and then Matt Enright, an all-conference player, banged another one to kind of to end it. So kind of a dagger. So Max was feeling good, and we were getting him some looks. We didn't get him quite as many in the second half. They made some adjustments. Credit to them. It's a really good team. You got an all-conference point guard that's a junior that's been in the league for a while. You've got 6'10", probably the best defensive player in the league, and they're a big guy. And then Emmanuel Prosper, who is one of the best power forwards in the league, and a tough matchup for us historically, and some other pieces to go with them. So it's a good basketball team, and one that would have been great to get, but. One that's it's tough for everybody going in there.
Yeah, no doubt. A couple of things jumped out, and you mentioned one thing. It did feel like 37-35 at half. As efficient as you guys were offensively, that did have a kind of a deflating feeling a little bit, right? Because as good as you guys were in that first half, it really kind of felt like that lead should have been 7 to 9 points, at least, and kind of there. Like you said, when you go on the road, you need to pad points. Yeah. And then let's talk a little bit about that second half, because if I would have told you, hey, you're going to out-rebound UMSL 17-12 in the second half, you're like, we're going to be in pretty good spots. But ultimately, the turnovers, the points off turnovers, was the difference in that second half. I think it was 12-2 in favor of UMSL. I think it might have been 8 or 9-2 as far as that goes. Seemed like that was a little bit of the difference in that second half.
Yeah, I mean, rebound margin is not always indicative of actual rebound. Rebound percentage is the number you need to look at. But you hit it on the head. I mean, turnovers were the difference in that game. We turned it over at a higher rate than them, shot it better, I think, than them, but on the game, turned it over higher, and they gave them more opportunities to score. So every time you turn it over, you're kind of giving away 1.2 points. Yeah. And so we know that, and credit to them. They're a good defensive team, and created some of those turnovers, but gotta correct that going forward and take care of the ball, because we are one of the best shooting teams in the league and in the country. So when we can get a shot off, we usually have a good chance.
Yeah, no doubt. Moving forward to Saturday, you were right on top of it last week. You said we're going to go into a tough place in Jefferson City. It's a tough atmosphere. And boy, watching that game, you were exactly right. I mean, that's a small gym. That band is popping, and I think you mentioned to me some hard rims. It's everything that you don't want to see on the road, right, when you're trying to play. This one was a tough one as far as a matchup-wise. I know you kind of talked a little bit about that, but this one just kind of had a feel from the start that was going to be a tough game. It just couldn't really get much going on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln's really quick, really athletic, and so they're similar to UMSL, only with 2 really quick guards, and so those 2 quick guards gave us some trouble, especially early. We made some adjustments and defended it a little bit better in the second half. Cut it to 8 with the ball, and Jack got it in the post, didn't score. If we score there, with a couple minutes left, maybe put a little game pressure on them and see what happens. They had just missed a couple free throws, but so we had until we had to foul at the end. I think we defended better in the second half, so that's a bright spot. But it's tough to go on the road. We hadn't been there yet, and it wasn't one of our better shooting nights. A lot of that has to do with them. They're a very good defensive team, one of the best in the league, defensive effective field goal percentage. So we knew it was going to have to be a defensive type game. We just didn't guard well enough in the first half. You dig yourself into holes, a double-digit hole on the road. You can maybe get back to even, but it's hard to overcome. So, not what we were looking for from a defensive standpoint. And we understand that when we guard, we win. When we struggle to guard, we don't. And so that's been our we've understood that all year. It's more about, it's not the knowledge and the understanding of that. It's more about the execution. So we're back to work this week, trying to get better defensively, trying to get a little healthy. We've had some players out at different times this week, but we're ready for this week.
Yeah, let's talk about going forward, because after Saturday's game, of course, the release of the point system for the GLVC, which determines the teams and the seeds. So it's not really the records or anything like that. It's based on the point system. Currently looking at that, we're 10th right now. We need to get to 8 from there. So let's look a little bit forward, because you've got 5 of your next 7, which to close out the regular season are at home. I know there's a lot of scenarios you're putting through your head as far as what we need to do and everything from there. We understand from a coach speak it's one at a time, but really, is there some urgency with this team right now? Is there value in kind of making this almost into your postseason starting this week a little bit? Because there certainly has to be some urgency right now to kind of get to there. How are you approaching that with your team? Are you approaching that with your team as far as kind of what you need to do and kind of treating this almost like a postseason type atmosphere now going forward?
I think our team's a veteran team, and they're aware of how the PRS works and postseason works. So we don't have to talk about it a ton. And I think whatever scenario you want to try to think about, it starts with a good performance on Thursday night and a win on Thursday night at home. So we're completely focused on McKendree, and we're completely focused on getting better. And our goal this season was not any number of wins or any number of accomplishments. Our goal was to become the best team and play our best basketball in February and March, and we still have the ability to do that. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're staying focused on, the process of doing that. But I don't spend a lot of time with the way the PRS works. There's teams that you could win and move down, because of the way the point values are assigned, and then people crossing different thresholds. Your game that was in December, that team that you played in December, it doesn't really matter what the record was then. It's more at the end. So winning takes care of it all, and so we're focused on that. But I don't know. I think the urgency is there. I don't know that there's like additional urgency. I think in this league you've got to fight every night if you want to try to win a basketball game, and our guys have competed night in and night out, and so I think the urgency is there. I don't know if there's an additional urgency, but we would definitely like to get to the playoffs, and are hoping we can, and the opportunity is still there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it starts against McKendree. Kind of a rivalry game, a game that they shot really, really well when we played them last time there. I think they were like 7 or 8 of 10 to start that game. It just kind of blitzed us right from the start, and kind of fought back a little bit, but was too much to overcome. So looking forward to that matchup. And then also on Thursday night, it's a We Are Stars game, right? So it's a big game for that. How important would it be, and kind of tell some of the people watching right here, how important is it to get a good crowd there Thursday night? Because your team plays well off of home energy, right? And I think you've told me before, you can get 2 or 4 points just simply off home energy from a crowd. So when we combine, we need a win against McKendree. It's a good team. We've got a We Are Stars. How important is a good atmosphere Thursday night to try to maybe kick off this winning streak, to kind of kick off and get to the GLVC postseason?
Oh, it's absolutely important. Our fans do a great job, and we appreciate everybody that comes and supports our team. But I think if we can get a good crowd and then get going a little bit, we can get some momentum going throughout the game. You can kind of ride that a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely important. We would love for everybody to come out on Thursday night to support us. McKendree, good, like you said, good basketball team. They've got they're a veteran team. Kevin Stein, Joey Niesman, 2 senior guards that have been around, and then they've got some guys that are Hayden Meeks has been around a while, playing really well for him off the bench at the 5 spot. So they're going to present a good challenge, and it's going to be a battle. So we're looking forward to it, and we're working hard all week, getting ready for it.
Yeah, and you got to love the fact that the next 2 weeks you get to stay in Springfield a little bit, right? So, a good weekend this weekend, and then next week only one game against UIndy, which gives you some time to practice and play. How important, final question for you though, but how important is it to get 3 to 4 days of like solid practice instead of just preparing for teams and backing up preparing for teams?
It's nice to have a break in the schedule, like a bye where you have just a 1-game week. I think our season is such a grind. We've been going since August, the 4th day of classes, and we had our 99th practice of the season last night.
Wow.
And so college basketball is not for the casual participant. So you got to love it, and you got to enjoy the process, and it's good to get a little bit of a change up to the routine in the middle of the conference season. So depending on how things go, we'll kind of set our schedule for that. But we're fully focused on this week and a second time around with McKendree and Maryville, and a chance to play them at home.
Yeah, awesome. Well, there you heard it. I mean, big game tomorrow night against McKendree, 7:30. Coach talked about it. Need a lot of good energy. Need a lot of fans in the stands to help us get this victory. It is a We Are SARS game, so we'd love to see everybody out there supporting the team, and like you said, being able to ride some energy and starting this, what we hope is a nice winning streak here on this homestand that starts, again, tomorrow night, 7:30 against McKendree. Coach, we appreciate your time. Good luck tomorrow night. I'm Michael Iota, and this has been the UIS Coaches Show.